on, Cowboy fans? We're here to talk about the NFL draft and who the Cowboys are going to take at pick number 19. Possible selections, prediction out of me. Now, look, obviously there's some big needs. Obviously a huge need at receiver now that they cut Dez. Huge need at left guard. Huge need at linebacker. And a huge need at the one-tech position. Even safety, I guess you can say. Even though personally I have a lot of faith in a three-man rotation involving Xavier Woods, Kayvon Frazier, and Jeff Heath. Byron Jones was sitting in an interview, got asked a question about his position this year, and he said he's a corner. I'm very glad to hear that. I'm glad Chris Richard, new defensive backs coach in Dallas, is making that switch for him. Obviously, I think he played great as a rookie at corner. I think in 2016, he played great as a free safety who could roam and be the back end. Last year, he took a huge step back as they put him more in the line, which was a huge mistake because he's not that physical, hard-hitting safety that you need in the NFL if you're going to be a box safety, like a Cam Chancellor, those type of guys. Now, here's what I think is going to happen, or who I think that they're looking at, and who I would want them to pick versus who I don't want them to pick. So if you're looking at your mock board or your big board here, obviously Roquan Smith has to be your top guy that you're looking at. He's probably the best linebacker, probably the top five talent in this draft. Personally, for me, he'd be number one. But you don't really see linebackers getting taken number one overall like that. Now the Cowboys are picking at 19 and 50. I'll go through their first two picks, what I think they should do with them. So at 19, I think that you have to go guard. Now, why guard? You're kind of making a transition to a more Dak-friendly offense, as Stephen Jones has said throughout the whole offseason. Now, a Dak-friendly offense is being able to run the ball effectively like they did in 2016, taking less pressure off Dak, putting more of the load on Zeke. That's what I strongly believe that the Cowboys should be doing, should be looking at this year. You shore up that left guard. I think that they go with Hernandez. Obviously, Quentin Nelson is going to be gone. He's going to go in the top, I think, 8 of the draft. Possible selections where Nelson could go could be the Giants or the Colts. Both teams have needs at the offensive line. It's just a matter of, do you take a guard that high? You trade down to get him. I know that the Colts already traded down. So it's possible that they can be looking to upgrade that line to give Andrew Luck, who still has not started throwing, more protection up front. So I think that you have to look at Hernandez out of UTEP and Wynn. I forget where Wynn's from, but those are the two guys that I would look at in terms of guard at 19. You shore up that offensive line, you make your whole team better. As we saw last year, Dak was running around for his life a lot in games. Obviously, the health of Tyrone Smith is a bigger issue than any other position, I would say, in terms of that offensive line. If you lose Martin or Frederick, that hurts too, but I think Dak's blind side needs to be protected more. What the Cowboys shouldn't do is panic and move Lyle Collins back to guard. I think that's a bad move. I think he progressed really, really well last year as the season aged and he got more comfortable there. He is definitely the right tackle of the future there, so that helps a lot. So I think that you go with Hernandez or Wynn. If you don't want to go that route, I think you should trade back, acquire more picks, and then possibly use those picks to, yes, I know this is crazy, but getting Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas makes your defense automatically better. I think if this defense is fully healthy already, this is a championship caliber defense. Am I reaching a little bit? I don't really think so. You have a pass rusher. You have the young corners. It's just about them developing and staying healthy, especially Sean Lee. And if Jalen Smith takes huge steps forward, that's a huge plus as well. That's what I believe. So if you're not gonna take a guard, or you don't like what's in front of you or on the table, I think you need to trade back, acquire more picks, maybe use those picks in a trade package to get Earl Thomas. I know that he's been linked to Dallas throughout the whole offseason, but I just think that's the thing to do. If you're gonna stand pat, both of those guards are gone, and you decide that none of the other guards that are left on the board are worthy of that pick, or you don't want those guys at 19, you don't think that there's value there, and you decide that you want a receiver, I'm going to go DJ Moore. If DJ Moore is still there, I think you need to jump the gun and take him. Now, he's a big-time, young, athletic receiver. He's money on those money routes, slants, digs, those easy layup throws that Dak needs. And he creates great separation, which apparently Dak needs since he can't throw guys open. Now, I know it sounds like I'm shitting on Dak, but I'm not. I mean, I'm just saying they're going to a Dak-friendly offense, and you need to get a receiver that can separate. DJ Moore's that guy. Now, I would not go with Calvin Ridley. Why? He's 24 years old. I'm pretty sure he's already maxed out his potential. Is there room for growth? Of course there's room for growth every year in the NFL as guys progress, get older. I just think DJ Moore has a higher ceiling than Calvin Ridley personally. If you're not going to take a guy there, I would try to trade up and get Derwin James if you can. If he's still on the board at, say, 11 or 12, I think you need to pull the gun and make a trade for Derwin James. That guy can play all over the field, can be your box safety. Then you have just a kind of like a rotational guys at free safety. I would try to find a way to put Xavier Woods more on the field at free safety personally. Over Jeff Heath, obviously. I think Jeff Heath is best served as a rotational guy, a special teams player. That's where I see Jeff Heath personally. Now at pick number 50, well, one more guy I would take at 19 is Vaitai Vea out of Washington, the nose tackle, defensive tackle. I think that he automatically makes his defensive line better. Obviously bigger too, but definitely better. You get a true one tech. I know people are going to say, well, he only plays 2 downs. No, he's a 3-down defensive tackle. He can play the 3 tech. He can play the 1 tech. As a big guy, he can eat up blocks. This is what this Dallas defense needs, to let Sean Lee and Jalen Smith roam freely to the ball as a 1 tech who can eat up blocks. Because Malik Collins has played out of position all of last year. He is not a 1 tech. I love Malik Collins. Malik Collins used to be a rotational 3 tech. We saw what he did as a rookie. He had, I think, 5.5 or 6.5 sacks, which is among some of the best in terms of guys who played 2 full seasons, I believe. So there is that. Now, pick number 50, it depends what you do at pick number 19. So I would say at pick number 50, if you went guard, you need to find a linebacker. A linebacker there, it just depends on who's there. I haven't really dug deep into this linebacker group, but I think after Roquan, I think it's Rashad Evans, and the kid from Boise State, there's kind of Roquan Smith has a huge gap between him and the next guy, and then after that, it's bigger gaps after that. If you're not feeling comfortable with the linebackers that are there, then you need to take a wide receiver. And I could see them taking Cortland Sutton if they don't draft a wide receiver in round 1. I think Cortland Sutton, honestly, is a carbon copy of Dez, which I don't see why they would do that. Or you could take Christian Kirk, even though he's on a true number 1. This is a huge problem. This wide receiver class is not very good this year in terms of depth. So it's just a matter of what's on the board, what you see. I think if you go wide receiver in round 1, you have to go guard in round 2 or linebacker. If you go guard in round 1, which what they should do to shore up that offensive line and make sure that Zeke has holes to run through, you have to go linebacker, wide receiver round 2. It just makes sense building this team. Obviously, it just as a matter of where they go. Obviously, we know that there's also teams that trade up, make ballsy moves, reach for guys. It's always a possibility. Personally, in this draft, I want to see more quarterbacks taken high, because more quarterbacks that are taken high, the more likely that that positional players of need fall in that draft. So, it's just some things like that. So I'm going to give you my top 5 picks right now real quick just to close out this video. Number 1, I see Sam Darnold going to the Browns. I see Josh Rosen going number 2 to the Giants. At number 3, which is the Jets, I do not like this pick, but I see them taking Josh Allen. I don't think Josh Allen's very good. I think he's got a high bust potential. Number 4, for the Browns again, I think that they're going to take Saquon Barkley. I personally think Saquon's a little bit overrated. I don't think he's a once-in-a-lifetime generational back like a Todd Gurley, like an Ezekiel Elliott, like a Le'Veon Bell, or an Adrian Peterson. I know Le'Veon didn't even go in the first round, but we see that he's kind of once-in-a-generational type of guy. And at number 5, I think the Broncos are going to trade out of that pick. If those top 3 quarterbacks are gone, I can see them taking Bradley Chubb, but I think that they're going to trade out of that pick and acquire more picks to build up their roster. Obviously, they have Case Keenum. They brought him over this year. But yeah, I definitely think that there's a chance that they can trade out of it. I think we're going to see a lot of teams trading out of their picks this year to acquire more picks, to get more depth for their team. But yeah, that's going to round it up. I think I'm going to do another video this week. I'm going to go through each team the first round and see, and kind of do like a mock draft, I guess you can say, of my own creation with trade downs and trade ups, things like that. But thanks for watching. Cowboys fans, I'm your voice of reason. I'm out. Peace.